Ready?
Yes.
Boy.
Lead us in.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thanks. Welcome to Mad Science Films mini review episodes. So, this episode, we are talking about the 2017 horror film, which is being released in this country this year, The Terror of Hallows' Eve, via Frightfest Presents, which is like a label of Signature Entertainment out here in the UK. I think it's coming out on June the 6th. So Frightfest, for those that don't know, is like a big UK film festival, and they've kind of put their name to some of the stuff coming out from Signature Entertainment. Signature Entertainment have become kind of like a really big independent distribution label in the UK. Put out loads of stuff, some good, some tap. But the Frightfest label is kind of geared more towards the proper horror film fan. But what's interesting is kind of moving away from like the cult film kind of thing that like Arrow and other Blu-ray labels start doing. They're very much kind of marketing towards those, you know, supermarket shoppers who are into horror films as well. But thankfully also moving away from the Dirty Girls in the 90s and Scary Looking House with a Tree and a Crow kind of DVDs. Todd Tucker, this is, as far as I can see from the Internet Movie Database, his first feature was 2011's Monster Mutt. But we're not here to talk about Monster Mutt, which looks amazing. We're here to listen to Jim talk about The Terror of Hallows' Eve.
After a 15-year-old boy is brutally beaten up by high school bullies, his wish for revenge unknowingly unleashes the terror of Halloween. It clearly is a film of cliches. The mother-son relationship, you know, hard-working single mom. He's got problems, likes to make horror figurines and whatever else. So and of course he's bullied by the local jocks. All very cliched, all very off-the-shelf 80s kind of characters, which I don't necessarily hate because I'm a big 80s film fan. It felt very flat. It felt just very kind of conservative almost as well in large parts of it. The script, the story was very weak. There was no real humor in it. There was no real kind of, for me, any scare moments in it overall. What it felt like it was a huge makeup effects showreel piece. I like the trickster makeup. That was pretty cool. I like some of the puppet action. The monster at the end was terrible. It was really, really bad.
Okay, I got theories about that.
I kind of get it. They possibly don't want to make it look too good because, you know, we might lose that 80s vibe, I suppose. So maybe kind of they've been a bit loyal to the old kind of effects of that era. And the score for me was just chaotic. It wasn't unified. There was no character to it. There was no theme. It was just a Frankenstein scoreline of different pieces of music, including John Carpenter as well, off one of the Lost theme albums, which is 1 or 2.
Number one is the track Vortex.
Yeah.
Really good track. It's like
it's a good track. Yeah. As filmmakers, usually when you're in the edit, you'll add like a temp track just to get an idea of pace and tempo. It feels like they laid all the temp tracks down and forgot to take them off.
I'm not going to disagree with those, okay?
Yeah.
I'll just add slightly to the negatives and then we'll move on to the positives. Right?
Okay.
It felt like the first 40 minutes was such a... could be a slow burn, right? But actually it just felt slow. At least with the slow burn, you feel like you're actually building to something. This one felt very cyclical. Like, you know, kid pulls a prank, gets bullied, kid pulls a prank, gets bullied. There was no sort of escalation to that. It was kind of like, this is the status quo for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then boom, the last 30 minutes, shit went down. I love the last 30 minutes. I agree with almost everything you say there, Jim, except what I will say, right, is if this was a legit film of the 80s, we would love it. It would be held up there with like The Gate, Evil Speak. A little bit later then you've got Pet Sematary 2, Brain Scan. That whole bullied teenager maybe a bit obsessed with horror, gets, a supernatural presence to help him wreak revenge. It won me over. I absolutely hated the film to start with. Like, it was meant to be set in the 80s. It did not look like it was set in the 80s. I kept forgetting that part. But the films I'm comparing it to, right? Like, Stranger Things you compare to stuff like E.T. and The Goonies, like the big budget stuff. The stuff I'm comparing it to is that schlock that, as kids, we were still aware it wasn't great. So, I mean, if that's their goal, is to harken back to those, like, mid to low level horror films, then they succeed in that goal. I surprised myself. I started with, and I think I spoke to Jim when I started watching it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, mate, this is going to be a slog. It won me over. And I think the moment it won me over, interestingly, you mentioned it, was when they used the John Carpenter track.
Yeah.
It's a great track, right? They used it well. The makeup effects, I would say, are amazing. Todd Tucker, the majority of his IMDb credits, I think he's got makeup, 2 feature directing credits and then 81 makeup credits.
Yeah.
It's a really striking design. The trickster character is played by Doug Jones. Does a lot of Guillermo del Toro stuff. He's in the new Star Trek Discovery. Those massive glassy eyes on the trickster kind of thing. So it wasn't an overly...
I could just see somebody on set controlling those things, like, independently, because it was just...
I loved that, though, because it wasn't, like, straight away, like, an evil character. And obviously, spoilers, there's a bit of a flip later on where they kind of go full tilt evil rather than trickster, right? But I was just like, that's an interesting design. And, like, 80s, 90s James, I would have been cool with that, The bullied character, that kind of connected. And it's a very simple kind of thing. It's like, oh, how do you get your, main character who ends up killing a bunch of people to be likable? Oh, make him bullied. Make him an outcast. Make him bullied, right? That's a very 80s, 90s trope that's been done time and time again.
I
think you feel, though, in the last 30 minutes, like, when the makeups and the kills, I thought the kills were quite inventive.
But it felt like it was all about that.
Yeah.
It felt like that's what they wanted to kill. Like, it was so lavish with special effects and makeup. I just knew this, this was from a makeup artist. It was like this was a showreel piece. That's what it felt like. Everything was just, all right, okay, we'll do the mum thing, we'll do the bullying thing. Let's just get to the killing thing. You know what I mean? And I suppose.
Because you were a big fan of, like, The Gate, right? Do you
Love The Gate.
Yeah.
Tales of the Crypt kind of stuff. The whole Tommy character in Friday the 13th.
Do you remember
like,
Brain Scan with Eddie Furlong and Pet Sematary 2?
Yeah.
Again, it's like broad strokes, setting up these archetype, maybe stereotype characters, right? And then, getting to the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, but at least in those films,
right,
there was some energy to it, right? There was.
I'm not sure about Brain Scan. Maybe. I love Brain Scan, but I'm watching it nowadays.
But like The Gate, there was there was pace to it.
I'll give you The Gate. I mean, I think The Gate is one of those kind of like crossover ones where even though it was low budget and everything like that, there were moments of brilliance in that which kind of knocked it into the next level. This is not that. And I'm not saying this is a great film, but I'm saying if you're in the mood for an 80s throwback, and to be fair, like, obviously there are a few of those getting made, but there's not a huge amount ending up on supermarket shelves. Yeah. So if you're the kind of guy who buys his horror from Tesco's or whatever, you don't want another Paranormal Activity or another Conjuring ripoff. This is that. It's a fun movie. I don't think it's going to be anything more than that. There are some terrible performances in there. Eric Roberts is back. Oh God, he was bad.
You could tell they had him on for a day. And the actor at the end, what was his name? He's been in a lot of Carpenter films.
Oh, which guy now?
Oh God.
Okay, you do that.
Yeah.
They've also got a couple of TV actors in there as well. They got Christian Kane, who was in Leverage and Angel, and also whose Angel co-star Juliet Landau, who again clearly was in for a day. So
Peter Jason.
Oh yeah, Peter Jason.
Yeah, right at the end. Of course, at Haddonfield Mental Hospital, and then Peter Jason walks in and he's like, "Hey,
I'm Peter Jason." If you're going to pick one thing where it kind of goes, if they'd fixed this, it would have done it for you.
Oh, two things. Two things. The music is a big thing because, like it or not, music is key. Right? It is. Yeah, it's the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And I think the script, have a bit more humour in there at times. have a bit of a build-up, really get into the trickster character, perhaps have a bit of a backstory, because it just seemed to have appeared like that pumpkin. Like it just seemed a bit sloppy. Okay. It just seemed a bit lazy. Ooh, the pumpkin and the blood. And I know there are some 80s films which I enjoy, which you go, oh, holes in the story, but it had character.
Yeah,
and I think because this,
I think they tried to do it with the trickster, but I'll agree with you. I think the one thing it lets down on, and they could have used those 40 minutes at the beginning wiser, was the trickster could have been a really great character. Could have been not a Freddy, maybe more of a Wishmaster, right?
They clearly spent a lot of time on that.
You know what? If they made a number 2 with that character, would you watch it?
Yeah, because and I think, do you know what? I think a sequel would probably be better than this, because they would have all been established, and they can perhaps focus on the story and the character, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'd watch it. I didn't hate it. I just a couple of things. I feel like I didn't hate it. I just a couple of things bugged me about it, and they were easy things to do. Get a composer in and just spend a bit of time building it up, you know, and that's it. And it would be great. I think those things pulled me out a bit. Okay. So overall, I would give it a 7.
Whoa!
I would give it a 7
out of 10.
Yeah, I would give it.
She's ranting, right? I think categorically we can say that I've been more positive on this whole thing. I'm going to give it a 6.
I would give it.
You sound like a 4. Mate.
I would no. Yeah, but I just think, because I'm passionate about the thing, because I think it was potential there. But it's just those couple of things. If they just solved it, like, you know, but great effort, cool character, I suppose.
You were so generous with the marks, considering how much.
No, a 7. A 7.
Wow.
I think if you're going down to 6.
I really liked it, and I would give it a 6.
What are you giving a 6 for?
Out of 10. Like 5. 5 is it's okay. Like 5 is.
All right, let's do it. So what are we saying? 5 is okay.
5 is okay. Time. I don't resent the fact it took up 70 odd minutes of my life. It's better than that.
Okay.
So I'm giving it a 6.
All right. Then.
What are you going to give it?
I thought 7 was cruel enough, but
7 out of 10 is not cruel.
Is there? No. I mean, yeah.
Out of 10.
Don't score many.
Like you can't give it a 7 because you're not even using those first 5 points there.
I give it a 5. I thought it was okay.
Okay.
Big room for improvement though. But there were small things.
Yeah.
Sort it out.
I like I say, if I'm going to hold it to the same standard as I did those 80s films, that's why I'm giving it a 6, because there are things I forgive in those 80s films because I watched it as a kid. What you got to think is, this could be that film for, you know, like a teenager.
Yeah. I'd be interested to speak to teenagers nowadays and see if they actually like this, whether these films are made for people like us. Do they actually enjoy these kind of films?
That would involve talking to teenagers, though. Have you seen any teenagers recently? You know, with their drill music. If you enjoy this, what other films would you kind of recommend? What's this a good gateway drug for?
Salem's Lot even isn't vampire films, but it's you know, kid who's into horror and fights the horror, you know, faces the evil. So, I mean, I've already mentioned him, but Brain Scan, that's the 90s one. Eddie Furlong and his virtual reality partner in crime. Again, bullied teenager kind of thing. Another Eddie Furlong. It clearly, you know, everybody hated Eddie Furlong and understood that they wanted to bully him. But Pet Sematary 2, which I watched last week, actually. Again, flips the Pet Sematary formula. So rather than a parent or whatever, it's a kid who, you know, kind of gets obsessed. That, again, not brilliant, but there's a lot of fun to be had in that, and it really plays on the bullied kid, and then gets a supernatural element to help wreak revenge on those bullies. Evil Speak as well. Do you remember that? Clint Howard. It's in like a military school. I don't want to say too much. Yeah. Track that one down. Batshit crazy, and that felt more like the 80s kind of thing that they're after. And also just check out like the early 90s full moon kind of era stuff as well. I would say just put there 976 Evil. Yes, that kind good one. I was racking my brain to think of that. Yeah, 976 Evil. Nightmare on Elm Street 2. That felt. Yeah. Return of the Living Dead 2 possibly. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. I really don't like 2. I know you do. I really don't like 2. Mixed review here, but you know, I think we can all agree that I'm right. I'll work on my rating system. Use all of the numbers of the 10. Alright, if you like the video, then hit that thumbs up. Anything to add, leave us a comment down below. And to stay in touch and look out for more videos coming from the Mad Science Film channel, then hit the notification bell. Do it! You've been warned. Do it now!
This is why we call you Angry Jim, because despite, you know, it sounds like you just ranted for 15 minutes and then you went, yeah, 7 out of 10.